Roy Ayers, the jazz vibraphonist whose smooth fusion planted the seeds of acid jazz and neo-soul, died Wednesday at the age of 84. Ayers' family confirmed his death on the musician's Facebook page. It is with great sadness that the family of legendary vibraphonist, composer, and producer Roy Ayers announce his passing, which occurred on March 4, 2025 in New York City after a long illness. A specific cause of death was not immediately available. Originally a practitioner of hard bop, Ayers eased into jazz fusion in the early 1970s, a transition he underscored by forming the group Roy Ayers Ubiquity. Cultivating a smooth signature sound that wove lush soul, elastic jazz, and tight funk, Ayers emphasized rhythm and texture, a combination that gave him a handful of crossover R&B hits. Running Away cracked Billboard's R&B Top 20 in 1977, with Hot matching that feat in 1985. It was a blend that also made his work ripe for sampling. Everybody Loves the Sunshine, a Ubiquity track from 1976, became a ubiquitous sample in the 1990s after being featured in Mary J. Blige's My Life. Over the years, Ayers' music was sampled by Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, A Tribe Called Quest, Kanye West, Common, and Tyler the Creator, among scores of other acts. Roy Ayers was kind of a godfather of the contemporary vibes. He brought a different element to his sound, compared to everybody else, vibraphonist Warren Wold told the New York Times last year. Roy's music is something you can jam to and have a good time, or you can just sit back and hang out with it in the background. The vibe is always strong. A native of Los Angeles, Ayers was born September 10, 1940. Raised in a musical household, he found himself drawn to the vibraphone after witnessing Lionel Hampton's big band when he was 5 years old. Soon, he learned piano and sang in a church choir but didn't acquire his first vibraphone until he was 17. As he studied music theory at Los Angeles City College, he played jazz in nightclubs. The first time Ayers appeared on record was on a session by saxophonist Curtis Amy. By 1963, he had his own recording contract, releasing his debut album West Coast Vibes in 1963. Ayers began to gain widespread recognition for his collaboration with flutist Herbie Mann. The vibraphonist joined Mann's band in 1966, a favor the flutist returned by producing 3 albums for Ayers in the late 60s, sessions that helped push the vibraphonist toward funkified fusion. Signing with Polydor, Ayers released Ubiquity in 1970, swiftly forming a group named after the album. His burgeoning jazz funk had a cinematic flair that flowered on his soundtrack for the seminal blaxploitation film Coffee in 1973. Ayers hit his groove in the mid-1970s, releasing Everybody Loves the Sunshine, the 1976 album that became the cornerstone of his legacy. Its warm, comforting vibes turned it into an enduring standard that eclipsed its chart position, thanks considerably to it being repurposed on hip-hop records by generations of musicians raised on his music. "The song changed everything for me," Ayers said via The Guardian. "It's still the last song of my show. People always join in and it's been sampled over 100 times, by everyone from Dr. Dre to Pharrell Williams. It seems to capture every generation. Everybody loves the sunshine, except Dracula." Ayers continued to play fusion as the cult around his old records coalesced. He embraced the newer musicians who created acid jazz, neo-soul, and jazz rap out of his albums. He appeared on Guru's pioneering 1993 album Jazzmatazz Volume 1 and, nearly a decade later, took advantage of his status in neo-soul circles with Mahogany Vibe, a 2004 record featuring appearances by Erykah Badu and Betty Wright. Ayers didn't record more albums after Mahogany Vibe, but he didn't become a recluse. He cameoed on Tyler, the Creator's Find Your Wings, then played with Adrian Younge and Ali Shaheed Muhammad on the 2020 album Roy Ayers JIDOO2. The endlessly sampled Ayers told Dummy in 2016, "It's wonderful, the desire young people express for my music. It's wonderful because I'm still growing in popularity.